Good evening and welcome to my page. Welcome to this presentation. For about a week now, I have been engaging you on some strategic ways, innovative ways for improving our capacity to mobilize domestic revenue and reduce our dependence on external donors, and then reassert our independence, our economic independence, and therefore our political independence. The thoughts I have shared have bordered broadly on decentralizing the payment of tax, decentralization of the payment of tax, or the allocation of tax revenue, so that when tax is paid, it doesn't, all the amount don't go to, or the entire amount doesn't go to into a central pool, and then the central government to later reimburse the local authorities. In most cases, this creates a lot of problems, and therefore becomes a disincentive for tax collection. We went ahead to say that if that's going to work very well, then an app, a software, will have to be developed so that that software can help in the payment of tax, so that it creates a platform. A platform is created through which taxpayers will pay their tax, and then it becomes mandatory for every taxpayer to pay tax using that platform, so that cash payments will be ceased or minimized completely. Now, we went ahead to say that once you do that, there is an incentive for the local authorities to become very interested in the collection of taxes, because they know that more revenue is made available to them as tax is raised from their locality, or from their local authority, or from businesses that operate within their local authority areas. And we went ahead to say, if you want to strengthen this strategy, you have to also look at the salaries that you give to the key people within these local authorities, whose decision could significantly impact on tax payment, and that you don't have to give them fixed salaries. You have to decouple their salaries and provide a fixed component as well as a variable component, so that as tax revenues increase, so will the variable component of their salary also. I want to add tonight that we can also add traditional rulers, traditional authorities, kings, queens, chiefs. In Ghana, we call them Omahinis and Ohini, and all of those arrangements within which the local communities, traditional communities are administered. We can bring all of them into the tax collection framework, so that they become agents for the tax collection authorities, to make sure that businesses registered in their localities pay tax, and they should also be rewarded. They should also be rewarded for contributing to the collection of taxes. Now, I think that summarizes what I have been discussing with you over the past few days. Tonight, I want to add another dimension. I want to focus on property taxes or property rates. Now, there's so much money to be collected from properties, from buildings. Okay, people have properties, different types of buildings, varieties of buildings, and different buildings in different communities, different settlements, some settlements are more expensive than other settlements. Okay, so we have different categories of properties: 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, to mansions, and so on and so forth. Commercial, domestic, industrial properties, all of this. It's important that if a country has not yet done that, they make a comprehensive study of the properties within the country, within every region, within every district, within every locality, and that they will have a list of properties, and then they will then go ahead to categorize these properties. They'll then go ahead to put these properties into band. So band A, band B, band C, band D, etc., depending on the criteria that they will use for the categorization. And then these banding and categorizing will allow them to assign financial values to these properties. So band B properties, in a country, you may say the rental amount, maybe, the value. Okay, you can place a value on it based on which you can determine the average rental amount. And therefore, in countries where they take rent advance, for example, in Ghana, landlords could take rent advance up to a period of 2 years. Some ask for 3 years. Occasionally, you find a landlord that's looking for just a year's advance. But to get a property rented out to tenants without rent advance, it's like non-existent in Ghana. And therefore, and what happens is that a lot of these landlords, they take rent advance from the tenants. They don't pay property on the monies that they take. So assuming that a landlord is charging just let's say $1,000 or maybe $500, okay, for a property a month, or even the very, very low rate ones in Ghana here, call it $100 a month, okay, and they are looking for 2 years advance, okay, that gives you $24,000, okay, is that, no, 2,400, am I right? Yeah, that gives you $2,400 dollars as rent advance. Okay, that money is given to the landlord, cash is paid in cash, and there's no tax paid on it. And you'll be surprised that the tax authorities are not able to collect the right property rates, and therefore the landlord is pocketing all these monies without paying tax on the monies. Now, if monthly rent, if a monthly rent is $2,000, then a 2 years advance would be $24,000, and all that goes into a landlord's pocket without paying tax on it. So this is an area that the tax authorities will have to be very particular on. Secondly, it should be mandatory for tenants to pay rent, not with cash, but that an app is built, a software is built, and the tenants can only pay their landlords using that app. That app will automatically allocate the government portion, the tax portion of the rent at the point of collection. So if the tax rate is 20%, or even call it 10%, and a landlord is taking $10,000, then at the point of collection, $1,000 will be deducted and dropped into a government account. And again, the law on taxation, decentralization of tax revenue, will apply. And therefore, as $1,000 is deducted, it will be reassigned, it will be reallocated, so that the percentage, maybe 10% of that amount or 20% of that amount, will go to the local authority account, will drop immediately in the account of the local authority, and the rest will go into the central government account. And so that is an innovative way that developing countries like Ghana, etc., and around Africa can strengthen their ability to mobilize revenue within. They will be shocked that there's so much that will be collected if we can get rid of corruption and the tax collectors can be genuine. That's why we're using apps, that we are not putting money in the hands of people. So these are ideas that can be implemented, right? So I'm going to leave it here, and when we come back, we'll get back and talk about other properties, not buildings, but things like land, so on and so forth. But thank you for listening, and please share the video, and those of you who have the link, share the link. Those of you who would like to organize party, what we call a watch party, you can do that. Share the link. If you have government officials, tax officials, and in any country that you think they will need this information, feel free to share. Africa has a lot. We don't always have to depend on other authorities, external authorities, who now come to control our economies. So thank you so much for viewing, and God bless you. I'll come your way again on Thursday, God willing. Thank you. Bye-bye.